Welcome. You're listening to the I'm Wired to Inspire podcast, creatively engineered by Nicole, the inspiration specialist. I'm Wired to Inspire is a powerfully packed 5-minute podcast filled with inspiration and encouragement to get you through your day. It's designed to inspire you to live your authentic purpose. Now stay tuned for your host, Nicole, the inspiration specialist, on today's episode of I'm Wired to Inspire.
You're listening to the Black Excellence Expose with Nicole, the inspiration specialist. Hey, and welcome to the Black Excellence Expose, where I highlight 3 incredible people of color on every episode. Today, I want to start with Marie Van Britton Brown. Okay, now homeowners can rest a little easier thanks to her. She was a nurse and inventor who invented a precursor to the modern home TV security system. Now, let me explain it to you. See, the crime rate was high in Brown's New York City neighborhood, and the local police didn't always respond to the emergencies. So to feel safer, she and her husband, they ended up creating a way to motorize a camera to peer through and set through peepholes and project images onto a monitor, like, basically like a TV setup, right? The device also included a 2-way microphone to speak with the person outside and an emergency alarm button to notify the police. So she ended up, her and her husband, they ended up filing a patent for their closed circuit television security system in 1966, and it was approved on December 2nd, 1969. So she is a pioneer in helping us have our homes protected. And again, I love this because this is a Black woman who did this, and she and her spouse came together and they solidified it and they made it a thing. And it's something that we're forever grateful for, even now in this day and age. So again, I mentioned to you guys on the last show, and I'm always going to say this every day, every time, that I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and I'm going to keep repeating these questions until they sink in. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, can you create a need? Find something that people need. And again, pay attention to the little things that come up. Even when you say, who needs this, who needs that, or they need to stop this, or they need to do that. A lot of times these things are happening repeatedly, and we keep seeing the same thing over and over again. And it may be bothering you because you may be the one responsible for fulfilling the need. Okay, so that's just something I want you to think about, because when you think about excellence, you think about Black excellence. We as a people, we have always had to do things we had to go a lot harder. You know what I'm saying? And when you think about the kind of things that life will throw us, you have to be able to put yourself in a position of power mentally first. It's one thing to have faith, but it's a completely different thing to utilize and activate that faith, because you're using the things that God has given you. And one of the things he's given you is the ability to assess and determine needs. And we all have that ability. So you just have to figure out what that will look like for you in your personal life. So the next person I want to talk to you about is Thomas L. Jennings. Now, Mr. Jennings was the first African-American person to receive a patent in the U.S. He actually is responsible for paving the way for future inventors of color to gain exclusive rights to their inventions. Now, y'all already know how things was going down back in the day, right? Now, check this out. He was born in 1791. Jennings lived and worked in New York City as a tailor and dry cleaner. He invented an early method of dry cleaning called, quote unquote, dry scouring. Okay. And he patented it in 1821. 4 years before Paris tailor Jean-Baptiste Joly refined his own chemical technique and established what many people claim was history's first dry cleaning business, right? Now, people objected to an African-American citizen receiving any kind of patent. We really couldn't get through anything. And Jennings was like, nah, I'm going to find a loophole. And he was a free man. So at the time, the U.S. patent law said that slave masters, they were the owners of the fruits of the labor of the slave, both manual and intellectual. So that's basically saying whatever you worked on, or you were working in a field or picking cotton or whatever, they get the cotton. If you go in the back with you and your comrades after you doing all that foolish slavery and you coming up with old Negro spirituals and hymns, they saying they own the rights to them too. So if you was about to get a Grammy for that, they say, no, that's my Grammy. I wrote that. That's my slave. It's mine. So your boy was like, Jennings was like, oh, nah. It ain't happening like that. And he was like, besides, I'm a free man. So you're not going to do that to me. Right. So he was like, listen, for me, I am not going to let anything stop me. So check this. Several decades later, Congress extended patent rights to all African American individuals, both slaves and freedmen. So it didn't matter who you were or where you were. If somebody, quote unquote, thought they owned you, they did not own your stuff. Okay. Jennings used the money from his invention to free the rest of his family and donate to abolitionist causes. Now, I just think that's beautiful, because that's the whole thing about generational wealth and reaching back, pulling forward, and doing these types of things. Because what happens is he found a way, and he paid it forward. Not only did he do that, but he said, you know what? I'm going to get my money. You're not going to take my money. I'm going to take up for myself what I believe in, and I'm going to bless my family, and I'm going to bless people who are fighting as well. So that leads me to the second question. What have you learned that you can teach to someone else? Okay. By him setting the standard for what he knew, he created opportunities for other people. And now because of him, we could literally get patents. There are millions and billions of dollars in this world, maybe even trillions at this point, based off of inventions from people who operate in a Black excellence. So, I want you guys to really think about that, because you have something. Everybody has something that they've learned. If you're able to listen to this podcast, it does not matter your age. There are things that you know. What do you know that you can teach other people? What has caused you pain? What has caused you strife? What has made your life lighter and easier and better? Can you offer any of that information to maybe take the pain away from somebody and show them a way out? Or can you do something to add value to somebody who is already doing some good things? Is there something that you can put out into the world that can highlight your excellence? That's what I want you to think about. That's a very, very good thought to ponder. What can you do with what you have? How can you teach someone else something that you've learned? Now we're on to our last and final person of the day, and this is Mr. Alexander Miles. Now, not a whole lot is known about Mr. Miles' life. They said he was born around 1830. There wasn't really a specific date, but he died in 1918. But what we do know is that the inventor was living in Duluth, Minnesota. Okay. Now, he was a part of the movement of elevators. He designed an important safety feature for elevators, like the automatic doors. So y'all know when the doors closing and opening, he was responsible for that. And I mean, that is so dope to me, and when I was doing some studying and reading on him, it was saying that, during the 19th century, passengers had to manually open and close doors to both the elevator and its shaft. So it was nothing like what we know as an elevator, where you had to press the button and everything was lickety split after that. You literally had to move the shaft. You had to close the doors. I mean, I wouldn't have even gotten one of them elevators. I can tell you that right now, because I'm a little weirded out sometimes in a regular elevator too. So the crazy part was, if a rider forgot to close the shaft door, other people risked accidentally falling down the long vertical hole. I mean, people would literally die if the other person forgot to close the shaft when they got out. You know what I'm saying? So his design was so dope because it allowed both of the doors to close at once, which is what we know today, when we get into an elevator. And that actually was the reason why he was able to prevent unfortunate accidents in the making, and he ended up having that patented in 1867. Okay, so with that, this is your third and final question I want you to ponder. And this is, what can you bring to the world in your own unique way? There is something special about you. Now, you might just be like, this girl don't know me. She's just trying to buck me up and tell me anything. Listen, I don't have to know you. There is something special about you. God says that in his word, like there's something special about you. So you have to figure out what that is. And if you don't know what it is, it's very simple. You could simply keep praying. And if you feel like you're praying and God is not hearing you, all you need to do is pay attention to how you're complimented. What's a compliment you get a lot from people? What's something that people say, strangers say to you all the time? Or if you don't get that all of the time, what's something that people consistently go to you for, or they ask you about? Maybe you're the person everybody seeks advice from. Maybe you're the person everybody says is attractive. Maybe you're the person everybody says that you have you're very helpful, or, whatever. Figure out what that unique thing is about you and see how you can put that out to the world. Maybe God may not be calling you to package it and put it out there in such a way, but there's definitely a need for you. And it's your unique idea. It's your unique way that could literally save someone's life, or at the very least, they can change it. I'm wired to inspire. I hope you are too.
Thanks for listening to I'm Wired to Inspire podcast at I'mWiredToInspire.com. If you enjoyed the show, spread the word and be sure to hit the 5-star rating on iTunes. For more information on this podcast and inspirational products and services, log on to the inspirationspecialist.life or I'mWiredToInspire.com. And remember to live your authentic purpose. Thanks again, and see you next time.